Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. Now this is not an Arty, this is a KV-2, the tier 6 Soviet heavy tank, and we're located on the south spawn of Abbey. Now the commander of this vehicle is Captain Ashstorm. Yes, he's one of the admin members of What Arty Noobs, and occasionally sends in these good replays, and I thought I'd feature this one and give it a commentary. Because even though it is a heavy tank, not an Arty, I think this one is going to be rather interesting. Now, as you know, the KV-2 has a 152mm howitzer for its main armament. Or at least it can have other guns, but it's most fun with the 152mm. And normally you'd be firing HE, but you can fire AP rounds from it as well. I think most people tend to load out with HE because it's just so much fun derping the enemy with a high explosive round which does maximum damage. Well, Captain Ashstorm has headed off down the west side of the map and nobody's come with him. He's all alone. And he's bound to be faced by at least one or two enemy heavies because that's where they normally go. Okay, now I think somebody's joined him. It's the Skoda T24, the tier 5 Czech medium, and he's found one of the enemy. It's an M6 and he's pulling back because he can't deal with an M6. He'll certainly put rounds into it, but that M6 can do a lot of damage to him. And Captain Ashstorm comes around the corner, the M6 moves to cover, and there's a KV-1S. He's using the Rex for cover. Oh, he just one-shotted him right into the engine bay. Wiped him out, 620 hit points gone, just like that. The power of derp is just absolutely amazing. Now, he's got a fairly long reload to go through, but he's coming out again. He's got another target. It's a KV-1. Round out. Oh, another one shot, 534 hit points. Well, technically it's a one shot because it only took him one shot to kill it, but it had already suffered some damage. Now he's got a 19.39 second reload on this artillery piece mounted on a tank. And he's pulling up again because I'm sure there's another heavy there that wants to be have his game ended. Well, there's a Matilda 4. He's using the cover. Oh, now he's pulling back behind those dead Shermans. Those dead M4s. Now he's poking his head out there. Round out. No, that one missed. Well, he had two really great shots, but now one that's gone astray. I think it really went down to the fact that Matilda 4 pulled back just at the right moment. Okay, now he's come up into the second channel. There's two channels on the west side. The one that's raised and vulnerable to Arty, and the other one which is lower, but obviously very vulnerable to the heavy tank fire. And lo and behold, he's found two enemies. A Cromwell dialed in, round out, big hit, 674 hit points, and that brings up the high caliber. So if he wants to keep that high caliber, he has to keep up the hit rate, otherwise somebody else will take it from him. He's reloading, the Cromwell's pulling forward, knowing full well he's reloading, and he's loaded. Now, rounds out, and the Cromwell's dead. That was a bit of a mistake by the Cromwell. He should have pulled up, taken a shot and pulled back quickly, but instead he just sat there and of course he got derped. Now that M6 has come around the corner and there is an enemy behind him, a KV-85, but he's almost loaded and he's going to go for the M6, and that's the end of the M6, 625 hit points. So that's three tanks that he's virtually one-shotted in that game. And there's a Matilda 4, yes, that same one that he fired at last time, who was lucky to survive by dodging the shot, but I don't think he'll dodge it this time. He's going to get completely annihilated, and yes he is, he's out the game, 502 hit points. So you can see this was a good replay to feature. He's only got one enemy left, the KV-85, who is right in front of him, and he's almost loaded. I think he's going to end this game with a Top Gun. Yes, he does! And what a kill to end the game on. Beautifully played, lovely, and oh yes, 10,544 win rate on this battle alone. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And it's an ace tanker. It's the first ace tanker that Captain Ash Storm has had in the KV-2. He's finally aced it. It's difficult to ace this tank because so many people play it and so many people love it. But what a game for him. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 7. He got a 5 for effect for dealing more damage than the hit points for his vehicle. He picked up the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the battle. He picked up the tanker sniper for firing at least 8 shots and hitting most of his targets at range at a distance of more than 300 meters. And they were quite some distance away from him when he took them out. And at least 80% of his shots must have caused damage. In fact, actually, I think he only missed 1 shot in the entire game. And that one missed the Matilda, who dodged out of the way before the shell hit him. And he got the top gun, of course, by getting at least 6 kills. And yes, there are the 6 kills. And the KV-85 was the last one. Okay, let's have a look at the team scores. Well, highest on damage, 3,413 hit points. Highest on kills with 6. And highest on base XP of 1,401. That is quite an achievement. Let's have a look at the detailed report. He fired 8 rounds. He got 8 direct hits and 7 penetration. So one of his shells didn't go astray. They did hit the target. I thought he'd actually fired 1 at the Matilda 4 and miss, but he must have hit something because according to this, he fired 8 shots and he got 8 hits. So maybe that shot on the Matilda 4 did actually hit him, but just didn't penetrate. Maybe that was the answer. Anyway, he did damage of 3,413 hit points, of which 1,154 were at more than 300 meters. And I think those are the shots on the KV-1 and the KV-1S when they were at the end of that road. He received 2 hits, 1 penetration, 1 non-penetration. I think that was from the Cromwell. And he blocked damage of 160 hit points. He hit 6 of the enemy and killed 6 of the enemy. On a premium account, he earned 56,543 credits. He earned 56,543 credits. But after repair, 338, ammunition resupply of 38,400, and consumables of 20,000. He was left with a deficit of 2,195 credits. Now, if he hadn't used the consumables, that would have been a profit. But because he used the consumables, it did make the game a lot more fun. Now, he received 2,102 XP, because that's a very high XP game for him. And it was ×2 for the first victory of the day, so he took away 4,204 experience points in total. But I think you can all appreciate that this really was an absolutely brilliant battle, because he went alone down the west route. There was nobody there to help him except for that Skoda who turned up rather late. But single-handedly, he took down most of the heavy tanks that came his side. And he did it in great fashion by derping them and one-shotting them out the game just like that. So well done to Captain Ash Storm. Great battle. If you enjoyed this replay like I did, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel. And hopefully it'll be your video that I'll be featuring in my next video.